welcome back, Mr. Political. I'm glad we got a chance to chop it up on the phone. You know, Thanksgiving passed by. Christmas is coming around in a few days. Folks are just stuffing their face, getting ready to get those gym memberships for the first of the year that they'll never use, right? And the whole world has been asking about you, brother. And I just want to tell you also publicly, you have your own little tab on the LanceScurv app where you can hit the button that has your face and name on it, and it takes you to every single video that we ever did, ever. Now, a couple of the private conversations, they ain't going to hear, but all your work is there, and I encourage everybody to go. There's a couple conversations there we had to keep from the public, you know what I mean? But that's the way it is when you're doing production. Mm-hmm. And, you know, in this world with things being real, you have politically correct and you have things that you whisper behind closed doors. Not that you're afraid to say it, but you'll say it when you get pushed. And you're not a man to hold back. I want to know how you've been doing. I want you to talk to everybody who's out here, who's been asking about you and your well-being, because you've been into the hospital a couple times and you're still strong, but you're recuperating. Talk to me and then tell me what you think about what's going on. Let's catch up. It doesn't have to be in any kind of order, but going on in the political world and in the world, your anecdotes and your insights and your perspectives, let us hear what you got to say.
Hey there, good people, calling from the state of Florida, the great state of Florida, even though we don't get snow during the Christmas season, but we get a form of bill collector. This is your boy, Mr. Political. I've been absent, excuse me, I've been absent, but always vigilant. It's good to speak to you again.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
To know the family is out there and they're showing such love. I just celebrated a birthday and a grandchild. If you allow me, I like to give a great.
Oh yes, tell us all about it.
On both of my bad legs. I'm on both my bad legs because I'm about to do a fiddler jig. I got a grandson, Mr. Marcellus Waters. That's what I'm gonna call him until I see a birth certificate to say other.
Congratulations.
Hey, it's my daughter's pleasure to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was fortunate enough to come through a generation where tomorrow was not promised to us, that we had so many failures, drugs, crime, illiteracy, ignorance, and the pursuit of being Mr. Charlie's stepchild. We won't forget that. A lot of us evolved from Uncle Tom to Bojangles. It's amazing how Uncle Tom is getting a new resurgence in America, and Bojangles is the stepchild, not the prodigal child, but the stepchild.
Big difference.
And he is, yes, he's throughout the Democratic Party, he's throughout the Republican Party, and let the truth be told, he in the church. But that's a whole nother subject. Mr. Marcellus and I will have a few more years together before I go meet my Lord. It's not disappointing. It's just something that's been foretold. That's how it works in the world that we live in. But other than that, I'm getting my legs together. I'm working on some projects. I've noticed some critical things in our society. Some things that puzzle me on relationships, political structure, how much money we spend on police departments, and they do what they want. When is it going to be a champion on behalf of the American people? We've seen, and I was congratulated for my work on removing Miss Val Demings. I thank her for the vote of confidence and the ability to see a functional political leader.
Yes.
I had to bring it to her attention. And I thank the voters of Florida for bringing it to her attention that her form of politics from the union ballot is unwarranted and unwanted in the state of Florida. Yeah. And you know how I love state of Florida.
Yes,
so
I do. Yes, I do.
My dough swept. And I hope everyone in America who is part of my generation, as we go to the door and look forward. And that's a slight. I'm not looking forward to 2023, and I hope you're not either. There will be no catastrophic changes. The ignorance and the bumbfoolery will run even rampant with those municipalities that took the mark of the beast of the Afro-American as their political leaders. They will find that traveling the road less traveled is the best pursuit. Sticking with the status quo is not necessary in America. We've seen that there's a great debate over the gender of my boys on whether or not it's even worth their time to even be concerned about being a man. These things are becoming ugly. Where is J. Edgar Hoover when you need him? What bigger misogynist, race hater?
Wow.
Undercover homosexual.
Not to cut you off, but that's a T-shirt. What you said about J. Edgar Hoover?
That's a T-shirt. Wait a minute, which part? Edgar, do we put J. Edgar on the left breast or the right breast?
No. We gotta say, where is J. Edgar Hoover when you need him? I like that. A lot of people are gonna like that. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna make one. I'm gonna make one just for you. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, man.
Make sure Spike Lee had a movie, his last movie called Black Klansman, right? Mm-hmm. You put that caption and you put that depiction that was on the cover of the trailer poster. And it goes perfectly fine because you're not earmarking any one race because the ignorance is multicolored. You understand? I had an opportunity. I was laying in the bed and I was just perusing my phone and I went to the 2020 census. The 2020 census indicated that there was a clear critical problem in America where that the Anglo-Saxons, them people from the Caucasus, the ones who be working with the rocks, and then the Afro-American, which is labeled today, but come from lineage of Black Americans. We don't claim Afro-Americans. We know he has deviant behaviors and deviant mental processes. So he's the special kid. Mama stand on the porch. She get the special bus out. She put his helmet on. She escort him on the real short bus, the one that have the plexiglass, not the one that have real glass that you can wipe the spit off.
Right.
Now, these Afro-Americans are the offshoots of Black America. Now, the 2020 census have clearly stated neither one of the Caucasian from the Caucasus, the Afro-American / Black American, are sleeping with their women. They ain't making no babies, maybe one. They don't want to pay no bills. Maybe they don't want to pay their daycare. Maybe they don't want to get caught up with her madness. Maybe they just don't want to get caught up with the system. So they're going to keep their little special purpose to their damn self, white and black alike. But it's fallacious to that because that was the ultimate dream of the future. In America, J. Edgar Hoover was a storm. A Category 4 by Florida standards. He, among all people, in his deviant ways, always made it possible for right to come out. Yes, this is true. That an evil person can make right come true. This evil person went after the Kennedys, went after Martin Luther King, went after Malcolm X. So when you wear a T-shirt like that, wear it proudly because he lived in the closet always brought things out of the closet. And that's what made him worthy of a t-shirt. Where is J. Edgar Hoover when you need him now? See, if we had J. Edgar Hoover right now, we'll know where the laptop is. If we had J. Edgar Hoover right now, then all those things that they said about Trump would be in J. Edgar Hoover's file cabinet. This is true. If you know anything about J. Edgar Hoover from the FBI, and you know how notorious the FBI is today, they violate everybody's civil rights and they protect civil rights. So they got a monopoly on civil rights. Yeah, that's what the FBI do. But other than that, looking at that situation in the war in Ukraine and how it will affect young black men going toward the future as a product of a young man who saw several conflicts that this country was involved in, and knowing and have knowledge that the large majority of those who volunteer within the Army, who volunteer within the Navy, who volunteer within the Air Force are minorities. And I just don't say minorities in the sense of multicolor. I'm talking about black people. Black people serve more to protect this country than some whites. Black people have died for this country more than some Hispanics. Black people have sacrificed their young, their firstborn, their last child for the stabilization and the safety of this country. So when we reflect in 2020, what is the sacrifice for when there is no equality and self-respect for equality? When, if I use the term by the police, racial profiling of white officers, yes, there's such a thing as racial profiling white officers. Racial profiling is when you take a core group of individuals and you say, because of their color, that they do heinous things. Can we racially profile a white police officer in this environment which we've lived in for the last 6 years? Can we truthfully be honest after the last 2 months of trial and hearing explanations from law enforcement officers as they're being given harsh sentence, which is warranted? You must always keep in mind, if a person got a harsh sentence right now, then that was just compounded on all the things that they got away with, which they believe that they got away with. When you finally meet your maker, they get you for old and new and some that nobody knew nothing about. That's the only way you can look at it. This is America. As we see police officers and chief of police continue to escalate the racial divide. Yes, there's a racial war in this country. The racial war has been going on for 6 years. No one wants to speak about it. No one wants to earmark it. Your favorite colored politician doesn't want to call it what it is. Even your new colored Speaker of the House, because I'm not going to call him a nigger, that would be disrespectful. And two, he step out of line. When he step out of line, when he don't hold the party line because he carried a torch and it's his time to make catastrophic changes. Until that day, he's just going to be that colored boy in Washington, D.C., that chair over the House. That's the Speaker of the House. I'm going to be respectful until he step over the line. Now him, his homeboy, Boehner, his homeboy, yeah, he do look like a man because these last 2 years have been kind of tiresome on the yellow gal. Yellow girl done took some beatings. Yellow girl done made some mistakes. She even came in the state of Florida, promised what she couldn't promise. You know, like I was telling you, when government offers you help, then you know you really in trouble because it ain't no help. This is what we're moving forward to. We're looking at the increasing of misogynist laws, and even though Joe Biden has signed enactment for same-sex marriages, that is not a solution. The bedroom is not social change. We tried social change with the bedroom before, and now we have no family. This will ensure that there will be no family, that the empathy and love for one's kin will fall by the wayside as society sets the standard. This standard, which is being set by society, is not one of productivity, not one of positivity, not one of advancement, but one of stifling, controlling, and enabling those who does not want family will champion the day of the family destruction. And we all will be the lesser for the loss of the family. In Black America, we have held fast to some symptoms of family, even with our baby mamas, even with our baby daddy. This will not last forever. Thank God for the economic downturn that will be clearly present. Hear me closely. As we count these few days left to the end of this year, that the economy at the beginning of the year will be worse than it is this year. Now, some say, well, I'm making money. I am making it through. But you're not looking at the millions below you, the least fortunate who do not have the income and the money for the changes. In my district, where I live in the state of Florida, changes have been catastrophic. The economic situation is very bad. I can't use the word I want to use. If I did, I'd be dropping the F-bomb. We just all bend over and touch our toes, and hopefully it'll be over soon. And then they smile and kiss us on their way out the door. The economic situation in Brevard County is becoming worse. The job market is so-so, but not sufficient enough to pay the bills. The cost of living and food has tripled, and food stamps are not going to cover the freight. So it looks dismal, looks very bleak. But there is always a shining day. Trouble don't last for always, and hard times don't last for always either. So be cheerful as you celebrate the pagan holiday. Yes, this is a pagan holiday. It has nothing to do with Christ. There's a bunch of stories mixed in to a merchant's idea of moving more product. Always keep that in mind, that Christmas in America is no longer about the religion. It was portrayed based upon the religion. It was portrayed to the family by the merchants who wanted Christmas, the same merchants who outlawed Christmas in the United States, but they found that there was profit in Christmas. So they made Christmas. They fabricated St. Nick. They created it, and some black people are creating Christmas by creating Black Santa, which is cool if that's what you want to believe, but you must always remember Christmas is a fairy tale, a mythical holiday with a whole lot of people input into it. But the real meaning of Christmas is family and joy of a child. You can pray, that's cool. You can push the narrative that praying is all about Christ, but that's not true. But the real meaning of Christmas in the Black community is family and happiness and the joy of your children. So, good people, this Christmas, all Black people, put away your Super Nintendo, your Xbox, your pad, your cellular phones. Put all those things away and send your children asses outside. Do not allow them to sit in front of that TV. Do not allow them to play with the electronics. Get them outside. Make them interact with their brethren. Make them hold a conversation instead of text a conversation. How about take this opportunity after you know the lie is over, that you go see your grandmother and your grand uncle, if you still have them, and you sit with them, and you don't go buy them something from Publix. How about you get in that kitchen and you get hands-on and you take your children with you and you rebuild a family during the holiday, and you talk to each other and you love each other and you say the most important things to each other, that we are family. It's not about the religion. It's not about the businessman perspective of what she should have and what he should have and what they should have. It's about your family. And being with your family during these times will be more enriching than any gift that came out of Neiman Marcus, Dillard's, Kohl's, Thrifty Nickel, Dollar General, wherever you may go to pick up this piece of happiness you figure gonna make somebody Christmas bright. The brightest thing you can do is be there for them. Have a Christmas cheer. Have something to eat and sit and talk. That's Christmas. Not riding up and down the street. Listen to the words of the old Negro spiritual by the Temptations that has stabilized us for 3 decades. Reach out into yourself and go get that song And then you will understand how important family is. Listen to it, and you will have a silent night. These have shown us not the gifts, not the parties, but family and the joy of a child's faith in the awakening of a whole brand new day of gift and joy and substance and family. That is Christmas. A lot of us will not see it. A lot of us have never seen it. But those few of us who do remember it with those who are gone will always cherish it. Will always hold it in high esteem. And as we pull out our scrapbooks of illuminated photos of those who have gone and passed, we will remember those silent nights. Christmas is a beautiful thing. That pagan holiday is not, but the Christmas that we know, the Christmas that we cherish, the Christmas from 1952 to the present day. And even though they may have been divided, and some will sing of a white Christmas and a holly dolly Christmas, and then some of us will sing that grandma got ran over by a reindeer, and others will come in harmony and sing, "Oh, what a silent night." This is Christmas, so cherish it. Leave the pagan and the theology pimp to his work for the ignorant and the foolish. But the rest of us, the few of us, and most of all, those who are blessed, will stick with the family for Christmas. If you have them, do something with them. This is your boy, just sharing a few words. We have a lot of things to talk about because I have been absent. A lot of things to look at. If we go back to work in the political structure of this country, after we look at the American family and its hopes and dreams for the future, we start with the Afro-American, aka backstabbing black police officer. Yes, this is true. I watched as I did my research, and it did not surprise me because these police officers were in Georgia. We need to just put a big old fence around Georgia. Okay? Mississippi, yeah. Louisiana, yeah. But Georgia, most of all. There should be a big old fence around Georgia. Even though one of my children live in Georgia, and she has not called to complain about the ignorance of Georgia, so she must be all right. But when I do research on police brutality, and I try to get a conscious understanding so we can relay it in the hall, which is necessary to make the necessary changes in the police behavior, interacting with government and the police department to modify their behavior, and if not, to revamp the standards which the state of Florida FDL sets for law enforcement and those entities within the municipalities that have jurisdiction over these areas. When you look at the behavior that I saw on film of 4 rogue police officers walking into a jail cell of a black veteran who is suffering a mental defect disorder, trauma, incident, whatever you want to call it if you want to correct my speech. That these 4 individuals walked into this cell and commenced to beat him in such a heinous manner that brought back the glory days of the Ku Klux Klan, but they belonged to the loyal fraternity of law enforcement and its union. And they served the Negro, stood by and watched 4 white men beat a black man to the point that he needed medical attention. Threw him up against the wall. The black man did not do anything to stop this. But then, this is normal behavior of minority officers. Because we can use justification if you're saying, well, why are you picking on the black officer? I'm not picking on the black officer because he was always prevalent. When the slave police were riding a horse, the black officer was running beside the horse, barefooted and half naked and unfed. So he is in his rightful place because there are several videos that show law enforcement when they are completely wrong. The first thing they do is they get a Negro police officer to do the wrong for them. You can always see the play of the Negro police officer because he stands by the Klan white officer. And then the white officer directs the black officer to violate civil rights. So in their mind, it won't seem like it's a racist behavior. It won't seem like it's a violation of civil rights. It won't seem like they were doing anything wrong, but they can get the minion, the monkey, off the porch, if I may be familiar in calling them by nickname, the monkey off the porch, the black police officer who has no shame, no self-respect, and no dignity in his own ethnic pride. That monkey off the porch to do the bidding of Mr. Charlie, less dripping from his right nut. Now, this is not unusual to view this. This has been going on for quite some time. But the only thing that has not been going on is that those black police officers were not charged with dereliction of duty and failure to protect and breach of office and violation of office. That has not been occurring. That, after going on 7 years, we're still discussing whether or not some officers should have immunity in their heinous behavior, in their heinous crime. This immunity is being protected by the union, the loyal fraternity of law enforcement. And I know, Lance, you say, Lance, and I say, Lance, that maybe I should put away my soapbox. Maybe I should take a key and a knee and put something in my pie hole about this union. And they're no more heinous than the teachers' union, who are protecting heinous teachers who are going in and doing racial things and creating situations and attacking our children. They're on the same board. So the question is, what are the other unions in America? I'm talking about the pipe unions, the electrical, the printers, this, that, all the other unions. Are they associating with these former people? Are they interacting in labor disputes with the law fraternity of law enforcement, the Teachers Association of whatever state and whatever county, whatever? Yeah. The word whatever means however you want to phrase it. For all you people who don't understand what does whatever mean? It means in the black vernacular, you put a face on it. I'm just asking the question. And in this, we're looking at two unions who one is committing murder and one is murdering futures. See what I'm saying? One is committing murder and allowing people to come in and commit heinous crimes and murder under collective bargaining agreements, and the people are being forced with the trash off of their feet. At the same time, these unions have commonality, and a commonality with the teachers union, because the teachers union is, and their association and their membership, a large majority of them, is looking this way. It's no, we're not going to play the game of the police. There is no isolated incidents in poor quality employment of teachers. That they were filling a vacuum of lost personnel. So we can say that this is not isolated incidents. The last 6 years and this year is not isolated incidents in the quality and the caliber of teachers which are being allowed to participate within this union and being overwhelmingly protected, no different than the police department, to the point that they're lying in affidavits and falsifying documents and hiding evidence. The teachers unions are propagating this through lawyers. Now, these two heinous organizations, the teachers union and the police union, are both forcing you to interact in collective bargaining agreements over the future and lives of your children. And that goes for the police department, because even in collective bargaining agreement for municipalities, that it is required that the union have some input, that the union orchestrates some kind of discipline program, discipline area, and what will be allowed and what would be allowed. This is not right. This is something that does not reek of a republic, not a democratic society, but a republic. That these two unions had used union dues to portray themselves as the most positive things in America, and that their core membership is 100% American. This is not a true fact, that their core membership are of supremacists. Their core leadership are of those who do not respect the Constitution. Now, in the midst of this conversation, Lance has not chimed in. He would remark to me that the Loyal Fraternity of Law Enforcement and its entities, its membership, its core membership, raised their hands to swear an oath to the Constitution of the United States and to serve and protect those individuals within their jurisdiction and law enforcement power. If we lived in a perfect world, if we lived in a world of chivalry and honor and respect and self-respect, then we could truly believe that those people who raised their hand and swore oath were not habitual liars, thieves, dishonest people before they raised their hand. Now, if we lived in a perfect world, then we could say, because they raised their hand in servants of their brethren within their country and in their district and within their municipality, that all their sins have been washed away. All their missteps have been removed and forgiven. That he without sin dare not cast the first stone at their previous behavior. That's if we lived in a perfect world. That if we could reimagine the truth. You cannot reimagine the truth. The truth is but what the truth is. These individuals were the scum and scourge of the earth. before they raised their right hand. That a lot of them had defects, mental defects, emotional defects, social defects. These things were apparent. And that the unions, excuse me, the union, and that goes for both parties that we speak of, the teachers union and the police union, not necessarily in that order for the heinous behavior that they did, because I must state again that the police union commits murder of the future. The teachers union kills dreams. Be clear in what I'm saying. The law fraternity of law enforcement kills the future. The teachers union kills and murders dreams. And it's a very simple thing. The educator of America has developed the greatest nation in the world, had from a blackboard created the atomic bomb, from pennies on a table, 10 and counting as example of how to learn math. They went to the moon. The lesser of their nation, who had even lesser than the less of their nation, was educated to send someone to the moon. That's how precise the education in America used to be. And I use the word used to be big time. So when we see these things and we know these things to be true facts, not something that you can make up and put in a movie, not something that you can reimagine in a book, because whoever writes history is the one to tell the tale. But these are facts. So when you allow a rogue teacher and you pay the taxpayers dollars to keep that teacher on the books because they are a union member, or they have some kind of defect, or maybe they just burnt out as a teacher, or they bring their ethnic hatred to the table and they want to express it from the teaching standpoint so they can plant a seed of discouragement, plant a seed of hatred, to plant a seed of just total slothfulness. That's what occurs when you allow a teacher inside that union. And then that union protects them because it's all about a dollar. The teachers unions of America are not there to protect the children. They're not there to protect the education and the quality of education in America. They're not there to make sure that the good teacher has fair wages and equitable working conditions. They're there for a dollar. They're using their lawyers and their lobbying powers to destroy your children's future. Two things in the state of Florida that we don't need. We don't need the teachers union, and we don't need the police union. If both of those unions are removed from the state of Florida, great things would occur. But unlike anywhere else, the people are governed by the right to work state, and that those unions are allowed to exist. If you allow those unions to exist, knowing that you work in the right to work state, and that you're being undercut, that you're not being treated equally, there should not be any police union. It's the right to work state. Let them negotiate on their own hourly wages and their salaries and benefits. We no longer need the union lawyers to destroy the Constitution, because that's who's destroying the Constitution. That's who those law enforcement officers, when they raise their hand and they swear They swear loyalty to those lawyers and that union, not to the Constitution, because you can look at many a tape and they tell you, I don't work for you. I don't respect the Constitution. If you go, and you can try this in passing, you go to a police officer and you ask him, do he believe in the Constitution? And I will buy you a steak dinner because you will come back and he will say no. They do not believe in the Constitution. There are occupational force in every bastion of America, and they do not believe in the Constitution. They're no different than communists and Al-Qaeda. When an officer tells you he doesn't believe in the Constitution and you know for a fact that he raised his hand to get that gun and that badge, then who did he swear to? When they tell you that your taxpayers' dollars don't pay their salary and that they don't work for you, then who do they work for? That union? Those lawyers who work for that union? Or that fraternity of law enforcement and their retired personnel in their own little country with their own little blue flag? You need to look, because you can take the rebel flag and replace it, and you can put it with Blue Lives Matter flag, and you can look at the history of the Confederate flag, understanding that that is a battle flag. It does not stand for the Civil War. It was the battle flag of Virginia. We understand it was the battle flag of Alabama. Be understanding that the posturing with the flag is igniting a war against minorities. I didn't understand what the Blue Lives Matter flag meant until a law enforcement officer who just got 8 years in prison explained to me what it means. Be fully aware in America that there are terrorists, and they terrorists are driving around with this Blue Lives Matter flag on. These are terrorists, and the possibility that they will terrorize a child near you is great every day. So be fully aware. I didn't talk about much. I always like the opportunity to let Lance bring me out the woodwork. I'm the old man. But in this, I will see you on the eve of the end of this year. And we will speak again, and I will give you some insight like I have done in previous years. I will broadcast from watch service this year, and I will speak to you from watch service. Google it. Look it up. You'll love it. It's old people church service for you young people that don't understand. So this is your boy, loving and missing, not always on time, if I can say that. Don't want to really say you're never on time. But I'm forever visually watching what is going on in our society as Black Americans. And at the same time, always keeping my guard up against our confused, lost children, the Afro-American. The Afro-American will need more love and help this year that is coming than ever before. He will need more understanding to his alliances with the Negro Klan. And that these alliances with the Negro Klan, with the new president, which is coming, yes, it won't be Joe, show won't be Harris, won't be Buttigieg, won't be none of the people from the Black Congressional Caucus, won't be even a Democrat who come up with a new third party because they got screwed in the last melee. The new president. And I will give you that name and who he will be. When we speak again, this is your boy, Mr. Political. Thank you for the best wishes. Thank you for the birthday wishes. And thank you for the prayers of help. And we'll get ready to sweep around our door. And this is your boy, and I am out.